There is a man who spent decades building a boat in the middle of dry land. The boat is finished. Animals are walking into it right now, 2 by 2, and it has not rained a single drop. Please welcome Noah. Thank you for being here.
Of course, though I may need to step out. The animals have been arriving all morning, and my sons are managing, but some of them require more attention than others.
Which ones?
The hippos have opinions about where they want to go.
Let's go back to the beginning. When did God first speak to you about all of this?
He spoke clearly. He told me what he saw, that the earth was corrupt, that the thoughts and intentions of people had gone somewhere he could not bless. He said he was grieved that he had made them. That stayed with me, that God himself could grieve.
And then he gave you the instructions.
Build. He was very specific. 300 cubits long, 50 wide, 30 high, 3 decks, a door on the side, a window along the top, rooms inside, gopher wood, sealed with pitch inside and out. He knew exactly what he wanted.
300 cubits? That's about 135 meters, 1.5 football fields long, 4 stories tall, on dry land.
Yes, so that's what we built.
Had you ever seen anything float?
Smaller things, but nothing like this. He said it would float. That was enough.
Had you ever seen a flood?
No one had, but he said it was coming. So I believed him, and I built.
How long did it take?
Decades. My sons grew up building it. Shem, Ham, Japheth. They have worked on this alongside me since they were old enough to hold tools. Their wives came into this family knowing there was a boat being built in the yard. That says something about them.
Your great-grandfather Enoch, he walked with God too.
He did. I knew him. Not for long. I was young when God took him. But I remember him. He walked with God, and then one day, he simply wasn't there anymore. God took him. That shaped everything for me. I grew up knowing that walking with God was real, that it had weight, that it led somewhere. Enoch showed me that.
Tell me about the world you were living in while you were building. What did you see around you?
Violence. Everywhere. The earth was full of it. Something in the world had tilted away from what it was supposed to be oriented toward. People did what they wanted. Whatever came into their minds, they did it. There was no restraint, and it kept getting worse. Generation after generation, further from God, deeper into it.
And you were different.
I walked with God. It was simply what my family did. What Enoch did before me. It was what I knew.
Did you speak to people about what was coming?
Yes, for years. The boat itself was a message. Every day it stood there unfinished was another day to consider what it meant. And I told people, I told them what God had said, that judgment was coming, that there was time to turn. They didn't believe it. Some laughed. Some were curious for a while and then lost interest. Some were angry. I think the boat bothered them in a way they couldn't explain, like it was an accusation just by existing.
Could they have come in? Into the ark?
There was room, more than enough room. God knew their hearts. He knew what they would choose. But the invitation was real. The warning was real. They had time. They chose what they chose.
How do you feel about them now?
Grief. These are people I watched grow up. Neighbors I have known for decades. I told them. I warned them. And they chose not to hear. I have to hold that. They chose. And God is just. Whatever he does rightly.
Let's talk about the animals. Because I have to ask, how did this start?
They just came. I didn't go looking for them. God said they would come to me, and they came. From every direction, walking, flying, crawling, orderly almost, like they knew exactly where they were going.
And the variety.
That is what has surprised me most. Animals I have never seen before. Creatures from places I have never been. Some of them I could not name. I had no word for them. Long necks, strange colors, sizes I didn't expect. God's creation is far larger than what I had seen in my corner of the world. I had no idea. And here they all are, walking into my boat.
How do you know which ones to take 7 pairs of and which ones just 2?
My family has always known the distinction, which animals are acceptable for offering and which are not. That knowledge was passed down to us. 7 pairs of those, so that after the water there will be something to offer back to God. 2 pairs of the others, enough to preserve them. God plans ahead.
The ark is done. The animals are inside. The door is about to close. And no rain yet. What is this moment like for you?
Waiting. Everything God asked for is done. The building, the gathering, the sealing, finished. And now I wait for him to act. There is a strange peace in that. When you have done everything you were asked to do, and the rest belongs to him, there is nothing left to carry. The outcome was never mine to hold.
Noah, standing at the door of an ark that has never floated, in a world that has never flooded, waiting for rain that has never fallen. Watching animals from the ends of the earth walk into his boat in an order no human mind organised. And he is at peace, because he walked with God before the instruction came, and that is what made it possible to obey during it. He preached, he warned, he built, and nobody came. Outside, the world is at the end of something. Inside the ark, 8 people, every living kind, and a door that God himself is about to close. We come back after the water. Noah Part 2, what happens on the other side of the flood, is next. Subscribe and come back.